Hey guys, welcome back to another snapshot video. Today on the Monday, and actually got caught off guard. A couple hours have passed without me noticing their pre-release 2 was out. So believe it or not, I'm not sitting in front of the computer all day. Anyway, so there's a couple changes that are worth looking at. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually something that wasn't a change in this pre-release, it was something that was written in the patch notes. So last week we got this change that Nether Fortress mobs like Wither Skeletons are able to spawn inside of Nether portals because they are now able to spawn at light level 11 and lower. In the patch notes, Mojang stated that this will also be in 1.19, so they don't intend to change this again, but overall they're not happy with mobs spawning in portals, and in a future version they want to change that. So this will of course affect a lot of the farms. So right now the current meta for mob farms, especially in the Nether, is portal spam for everything. So in case you want to make a magma cube farm, you go to the basalt delta and just have Nether portals on top of the bedrock. In case you want to make a gas farm, you go to the Soul Sand Valley and do the same. In case you want to make a gold farm, then just do the same basically with portals and kill all the mobs in the overworld. And now this would be the same with the Nether Fortress farms. And I actually agree that this might not be the best way of doing things. So first of all, it's kind of weird that a mob would spawn inside of a portal and then immediately change dimension. It's kind of actually similar to them spawning on magma blocks or inside of Wither Roses where they would get damaged immediately. So I was never really in favor of this mechanic. Will this then completely change the meta? I think portals for mob farms will still be very useful. So I guess the future mob farms would then look something like this. Mob would spawn and gets immediately pushed by a portal. So maybe there's just some tripwire detection and a piston that pushes the mobs directly into the portal. So still a viable way to make the farms in the future. Just not quite as fast and simplistic as before. We could just have multiple portals next to each other. So rates will be a bit lower, but this still gonna be way too fast for normal needs anyway. So this is just interesting. If you need 10,000 beacons, whatever, you might need to AFK a little bit longer with the if this portal spawning would be fixed. So I think it might be important to know about this announcement in the patch notes in case you're planning to build a new Wither Skeleton farm or any other Nether farm in 1.19. Then just be aware that your farm will be broken eventually. But on the other hand, Mojang also announced several years ago that the zombie piglin XP farms will be broken at some point. This still hasn't happened. Or TNT duping will be fixed, or gravity block duping with the end portal will be fixed eventually. So this could be in 1.20 or in 5 years. So we don't know when this will actually then be changed. So there's another minor change. Last week, sound was added if you would equip a pumpkin or a wither skeleton skull in the head slot. This was actually removed. And then we got a couple changes to the Sculk sensor again. It can now also detect Enderman teleporting. I'm just waiting for it. There we go, Enderman just teleported away. This would then give out a signal strength of 5 if you have a comparator in front. Stripping logs, turning grass into a path, or tilling farmland will now also activate the Sculk sensor, and we get a signal strength output of 6. Villagers placing crops and also snow golems creating snow will now also trigger the Sculk sensor, so it's the block placed event. Got a couple more of those things, so in case a piston would break a block, this can also be detected with the Sculk sensor. But in some cases you wonder if it's actually gonna be that useful. So we got, for example, a piston breaking some leaves. This would now also activate the Sculk sensor, but the piston extending already would trigger the Sculk sensor, and the Sculk sensor have quite some cooldown. So I wonder if it's actually gonna be that useful. Placing food on a campfire would now also activate the Sculk sensor. Isn't that nice? Got a couple more events that will now be picked up by the Sculk sensor. If a cauldron gets filled by either rain or pointed dripstone, this will be detected. If you put a music disc in a jukebox or take it out again as well. If you wax or unwax copper block, will be detected, and harvesting sweet berries as well. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks guys for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.